I'm now joined by Rabbi Amichai Cohen, who is the founder and director of livekabbalah.com. Rabbi, firstly, thank you so much for coming on to speak to us during such a difficult time. Condolences to your community there. I understand you were there at the scene. Tell us what happened in front of you.
Well, it seemed to have been a regular kind of a year where obviously it was packed and people were trying to get to different areas and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, paramedics just kept on coming in. And basically we realized that something serious was going on. And one after one, it were very difficult scenes, seeing people taken out and just never forget it. I mean, people just being laid out there, literally trying to be resuscitated. One scene comes to mind where there were a bunch of people that were carrying an individual running down the hill. And while someone was on top of this person trying to resuscitate him, it was extremely difficult to be there. Obviously, it was pandemonium afterwards, and it turned from being a joyous, occasion. All of a sudden, it just transformed to the other side.
It must have been extremely confusing with all of this going on around you. Tell me, what were the directions that you heard from authorities there, especially when people were trying to get out of this area, this bottleneck area, which we're seeing really dramatic images coming in, showing us there?
Yes. So you have to understand that the area is completely packed. I mean, this year was 100,000 people converging all at once, and there was really no room for the paramedics to get through. So in order to make a clear line, they literally had to, enforce this line that was able to go through from the top where the evacuated individuals were at, all the way down for the ambulances to shuttle them away and whatnot. So that was something that took a little bit of time, but then people started to realize again that something serious was happening, and then it started to reorient people to where they should be going.
So, Rabbi, a huge loss for your community. 44 people who've been killed.
For all communities, this is something global.
Of course, but especially for your community, it's really tight knit. Tell me what happens in the next few hours.
Well, again, I don't necessarily know who was there in that community. My community is Chabad, and there were all types of individuals that are there from all backgrounds, and we all feel that pain. Which is so powerful, which is so real, because this is something that we never expected, and this being the opening up of COVID, in a sense, the biggest gathering since. We didn't expect that to happen, but as believing Jews and as people who are connected to this light of Rabbi Shimon, we know and we have faith that, first of all, there's no words about it. We cannot explain it. And that's the first way of really just dealing with the situation. There's no answers, right? But we do believe that we must do more to go to the other extreme of trying to infuse more positivity and more light and more goodness, and to try to go to the other extreme where there's a loss, there must be a redoubled effect for goodness to come about in the world.
Yeah, certainly. And Rabbi, we know that the Prime Minister has now arrived. Quite a lot of people have already been evacuated on these buses. We're seeing images of a huge line of buses going along the road there, evacuating people. But a lot of people have chosen to stay on and are quite angry with the Prime Minister. Can you tell us why?
Tell you the truth, I don't get it. I really, really don't get it. When it happened, I was like, okay, it's time to go. And thank God I made it early on the bus. It was 2:30 in the morning, and it was a 2.5-hour ride, which usually takes 15 minutes to my hometown of Tzfat. We went literally all around. We waited on the bus for hours and hours and whatnot. But talking about those individuals that you're talking about, those are a very fringe few of individuals that I think you find in in all communities, extremists, if I would say so, that really do not represent what this light of Rabbi Shimon of Meron and what the day is really all about. And obviously, they certainly do not represent me. And sending out any forms of negativity and being callous, I would say, to the reality that's on the ground is something that I can't get. And I think many, many people do not get. It's sad, and I think it says that there's a darkness within a darkness that people are in, and unfortunately, I mean, we see this in our society that people are oblivious to reality that is around them, and being sensitive to others, being sensitive to everyone else around you is one of the prime lessons that Rabbi Shimon speaks about in the Zohar, and one that we obviously have to take to heart much, much more.
Certainly, and Rabbi Amichai Cohen there, we're hearing a lot of things coming in from all parts of the globe, with mourning going on, and that National Day of Mourning announced for Sunday. So very sorry for your loss, and thank you for chatting to us during this difficult time.
Our loss, and may we see the ultimate rebuilding and the coming of ultimate redemption.
All right.
And goodness for all of humanity.
All right, Rabbi, thank you very much.